We've seen that in a two-firm oligopoly, the oligopoly equilibrium emerges at the intersection of the best response functions for the two firms. And we can now ask the question, how does the overall quantity produced in the market in this oligopoly equilibrium compare to the monopoly quantity that would be produced if there was only a single firm in this market? And we can see that in this picture by recognizing that we have the monopoly quantity here and the monopoly quantity here. So if we draw a line that connects the two monopoly quantities on the two axes, that line would represent all the different ways in which the two firms could split the monopoly quantity between each other. If we pick the midpoint of that line, we would get half the monopoly quantity for firm 2 and half the monopoly quantity for firm 1. And by locating this point, we can see that in the oligopoly equilibrium, each firm is producing more than half the monopoly quantity. So together, they're producing more than the monopoly quantity. The overall quantity produced in the oligopoly equilibrium is therefore greater than the monopoly quantity that would be produced if there was a single pure monopoly. And if the overall quantity is bigger under the oligopoly than under the monopoly, it must mean that the price is lower. We know what the price under the monopoly would be. In the monopoly, we would read off the price from the demand curve at the monopoly quantity. So this would be the monopoly price. But when the two firms are producing more than the monopoly quantity together in the oligopoly equilibrium, they're going to move further down the demand curve. That overall quantity is going to be larger, which means the price is going to be lower. So this implies that the price under the oligopoly is less than the price under the monopoly. If we now line up all the possible market structures from perfect competition all the way to pure monopoly, we know that under perfect competition, price is going to be equal to marginal cost. And under the pure monopoly, price is going to be above marginal cost. So the monopoly price is greater than the marginal cost. We've now moved in the direction towards perfect competition by adding a second firm to create a two-firm oligopoly. And in the process, we've discovered that as we move in this direction, the overall quantity in the market is going to go up. The oligopoly quantity is higher than the monopoly quantity, and the price in the market is going to fall at that higher quantity. Now, before we get together in class, I'd like you to think about what your intuition would tell you will happen if we move further in the direction towards perfect competition. So instead of just adding a second firm to the single firm in the monopoly, what if we added a third firm to the oligopoly? What does your intuition tell you will happen to the quantity and the price as we move further in that direction? What if we add a fourth firm to the oligopoly? What do we think will happen to the overall quantity produced in the market and to the price that will emerge in the market? So I'd like you to think about that a little bit before we get together in class next.